When you gotta go, you gotta go. Kick it! Thank you for clicking on this video, and thanks for all the subscribers and all that. We are going to continue part 2 and the final conclusion of Purge 2023. I have about 3,000 records. I purged about 80 of them. I was hoping for 10%, which would have been 300, but 80 records. About 20 of them went on eBay. We're going to talk later about which ones sold for the most, and the other 60 or so are going to just go to a record store and I can get credit to buy some more. That amount of records cleared about, I got everything off the floor, which is awesome. So no more records in piles on the floor. Everything is on the shelves. Maybe about 5 inches of space, which you'll see right here. So that's going to be about, I don't know, like 30 albums I need to get for the year. And I'm already replenishing that space. It's an addiction. I can't buy another one of these shelves. I need to listen to the stuff I have, but here we go. So in fulfilling that space already, I went to a record store in the suburbs of Chicago, Villa Park, Illinois, called Cheap Kiss Records. And I'm noticing a lot of the record shops are all pricing kind of the same way. The vinyl surge, whatever, is slowly coming down, I believe. But vinyl prices are still high. I don't find any good quality like classic rock in the $1 bin, $2 bin. Those days are gone. Those are records that have been pulled and put back with all the other ones for $4.99, $6.99, $8.99. I find that every record store is kind of pricing like for what you would get on eBay plus the shipping. So it used to be like, well, you go to record stores and you don't have to pay shipping or anything like that. These stores don't seem to be any cheaper than the lowest price on eBay plus the shipping that you would pay. So it's alright pricing. I love to support the stores. So I had a good time looking at Cheap Kiss. It's my second time there. First time was like, I don't know, like 10 years ago. It's a real cool shop. It's within a bookstore, so it's kind of, it's quiet. You're in a bookstore. Shh. So I was looking through my records, and I found this Shooting Star. I believe this is their 3rd record. They are, compared to Kansas, because they're from Kansas City, Missouri, and classic rock, but you might know them from Last Chance was their big single. On their first record, I would sing it for you, but I can't get up that high in range, not even close. This is their 3rd one from 1982. It's called 3 Wishes. I just like the guy's voice, and the group was really cool. So looking forward to listening to that. Paola's, band from Canada. Like the sticker says, No Stranger to Danger, as heard on Valley Girl. Eyes of a Stranger. There's a song on Valley Girl. I don't know why they put No Stranger to Danger. I don't know. He's probably making a lot of stickers, but Eyes of a Stranger is on Valley Girl soundtrack, one of the most amazing soundtracks. Of course, Nick Cage movie. And I have the single, the 12-inch single, so now I have the record that it came from. And I also have 2 more of their other records. So I might then get rid of the single, because I don't need 2 versions of the same song. And so yeah, Paola's. Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, you're going to get it. This is their 2nd record. I believe I still need the first. I used to have it on cassette, but I need it on vinyl. I have all the good Tom Petty records on vinyl. What's that, you say? Everything up to Southern Accents. I don't know what happened to Tom Petty. He was hanging out with Bob Dylan too much, or something happened where his voice even got more twangier, and in the Free Fallin' era, I hated those songs. Free Fallin'? Come on, Tom Petty, you're so good. What are you doing singing Free Fallin'? And what is that other one? The ballad is Running Down a Dream. That was another one that was just... I mean, come on here, Tom Petty, man. Oh, this is some good stuff. So, glad to add the 2nd record of Tom Petty to my collection. A record that I did find a little cheaper than what the cheapest thing on eBay was, so awesome, was Quiet Riot. Now, this one does not have Kevin DuBrow. It has Paul Shortino, and I love Paul Shortino's voice. He's a singer of Rough Cut, or was, and so I spun this, and I really like it. It's called Quiet Riot. It's kind of when they were like, hey, let's start all over. And now, Quiet Riot, I believe, is out there. And you don't have Frankie Banali. Of course, Kevin passed away, as did Frankie. I think you have Rudy Sarzo may have rejoined them. Yeah, I don't know. Quiet Riot is still out there in some form, I think. And of course, what I love to do is mail order from the record labels themselves or from the band themselves. I got Screech and Weasel. Their latest one is okay, but the one before that, Some Freaks of Atavism, I got it on CD and I really liked it. So then I bought the vinyl copy for like $20. So I'm really happy to have this in my collection. Of course, when we talk about Screech and Weasel, ex-member of Screech and Weasel, and a guy that was singing Sludgeworth. Dan Vapid and the Cheats. Dan Vapid, he's had a great career after Screeching Weasel. This is, I believe, the first record of Dan Vapid and the Cheats. And of course, the record Escape Velocity by Dan Vapid and Cheats. One of the best records you're ever going to hear. So those are some new things that I've gotten to put in there. I also have some other records on order. Those 5 inches are going to fill up really fast. That's what she said. So, what did I purge this time? Well, you're asking me and I'm telling you. I said like a lot of 80s soundtracks, a lot of cheesy soundtracks, a lot of soundtracks I'm not. I used to be a soundtrack collector, and then I realized, when are you actually pulling soundtracks out of the shelves and listening to them? Very rarely. Time to get rid of them. For instance, Avalanche. Who, when, what mood are you in that you're like, hey, you know what I want to spin today? Some Avalanche. Some Rock Hudson, Mia Farrow, Avalanche. And I don't know. I don't know if the sound is just like, we're being avalanched. I don't know. I've never even played it. Same thing, under the same kind of thing, is Earthquake. Another soundtrack that I just had to have. And then you're like, why? Why do I need to have this? I don't know. Time Charlton Heston on this one. Another like classic 80s movie, awesome movie, but I don't need a soundtrack. Airplane. That's purged. Purge! This is my purge pile. Hope I get a few bucks each. Another 80s cheesy movie, Crocodile Dundee. When am I in the mood to play Crocodile Dundee soundtrack? So, yeah. Those are my soundtracks that I'm getting rid of. Just 4 of the many soundtracks I'm getting rid of. I still have 2 complete shelves of soundtracks. So, rock records. Of course, watch the last video I did, kicking records out of the collection. I stopped with letter P. I went through, the Pink Floyd and all that. I was keeping a lot. I think I kept all my Q's and R's and S's. I started to get rid of some. This is band Stone Fury, Break Down the Wall. Leonard Wolf sung for also Kingdom Come. Sung for Stone Fury. Got a great voice, and I do have their record that this is on. So I don't need a 12-inch single. Don't need that. Just takes up space. Rod Stewart. Good old Rod. Camouflage is the record. I don't. I think does this have Infatuation? Yeah. I like that song a little bit, but I don't need the record. Sorry, Rod. I'm getting kicked to the curb, which is ironic because Rob plays football, or as you Americans call it, soccer. Tommy Shaw. I love STYX. Love Tommy Shaw's voice. Actually, I was really bored at work the other day, and I did a little sheet of songs that I liked from STYX, seeing who would win, DeYoung or Shaw. And Mr. Dennis DeYoung won by 1 song. I actually like more Dennis DeYoung songs than Tommy Shaw songs, which means STYX. I know you hate each other and all that. Just get together for 1 tour with Dennis DeYoung, final tour, and just, please, you can both be separate tour buses, and you be on that side of stage, Tommy Shaw, and you be on that side of stage, Dennis DeYoung. I like the one more song. Anyway, so Tommy Shaw solo record. I do have another solo record of his. This one I played it, and it just wasn't that much to it that I wanted to keep it, so. Sorry, Tommy Shaw. Simon & Garfunkel Greatest Hits. I was really into Simon & Garfunkel, and I got the Greatest Hits, and I started to get all the albums that the hits were on, and I figured, why do I need the Greatest Hits anymore? I have the records, and I kind of like, sometimes you just want the hits, because there are other songs like, oh, they're not so good. But some times you want the record, because the hit kind of fits really nicely in with the record. Simon & Garfunkel, they fit nicely, so I don't need the hits. Same for this category. Who's Greatest Hits? One of the first records I ever bought, actually. I remember going to Rolling Stone Records in Illinois here. Rolling Stones, just outside of Chicago, in, what is it officially in? Norridge? I used to be smart before the internet. Norridge, Illinois, over by there. Norridge, Illinois, just outside of Chicago. I bought this. One of the first records I bought. Again, same thing. All these songs. Won't Get Fooled Again, The Seeker, Substitute, My Generation, Pinball Wizard, Happy Jack, Love Reign Over Me, Who Are You? They fit really nicely in the records that they come from. So I don't need the Greatest Hits anymore. I'm not a Who collector, so off that goes. Same with the Rolling Stones. I love this live record, but I've played it so much at one point that I'm probably not going to play it again for a long time, so time to go. If you want it live, got Under My Thumb, Not Fade Away. Some good stuff here, but off it goes. Purged. From The Who, Mr. Pete Thompson, Face to Face, long version. I believe it's got Won't Get Fooled Again, played live. I don't know if it's acoustic or not. But again, Face to Face, I have the record. I don't need the single of it. Buy. You go buy. The Time, had this one for a long time. Ice Cream Castle, at the time. It's got Jungle Love on it, which is a great song. The only song a lot of people know from The Time. And, I don't know. I just don't need it anymore. I'm not going to play that. I have a large selection of compilation albums. So those are albums that feature a lot of songs from different people. I was starting to collect every compilation album I could find of like classic rock, and I'm like, why am I doing it? Along my soundtracks, time to purge a little bit of it. This one's got Foreigner, the Doobie Brothers, Pat Benatar, STYX. It's called Pure Rock from K-Tel. You guys know K-Tel from 1981, one of my favorite years for music. And I have these songs on all the albums, and time to go. I'm going to keep a lot of compilations, but getting rid of some. Like Sound System. Got Stray Cats, Fix, The Tubes, The Police. I just really have all these albums that these songs are from. The Heart of Rock. Another K-Tel one from 82. Speedwagon, Journey, Foreigner, Chicago, Meatloaf, Kansas. I tell you, this was my youth. I'd shoot hoops in the backyard, put on the Loop classic rock station at the time, listen to all these bands, brings out great memories, but I have enough comps. I don't need this one. Spuds MacKenzie, Party Favorites, Chuck Berry, Beach Boys, Richie Valens, The Kingsmen, Jerry Lee Lewis. I don't need this. I very rarely listen to like 50s, 60s stuff. If I'm listening to 60s stuff, I'm listening to The Doors. But I don't find myself listening to, like, what is that, Happy Days kind of music? Not very much. Alright, rock power music. Awesome cover again. It's got Triumph singing Magic Power. You don't get Triumph on a lot of compilations, but Alabama singing Tennessee River. Alabama's one of the few country bands that I can't tolerate that either. Sun City, Artists Against Apartheid. A lot of artists here. Stanley Jordan, Pat Benatar again. I've never played this album. I think I bought it. I maybe played it once. Funny Bone favorites, like kind of songs that have a humor. Ahab the Era by Ray Stevens, stuff like that. I just don't need that. Disco Rocket. I like a lot of disco music actually, but I don't need. I have like 2 other comps, so that's pretty much all I need of that. Buy to the store. And again, I'm going to the end of the collection now of like miscellaneous albums. I'm like, why do I even have this? German drinking songs. Don't need to play that anymore. I used to DJ at a club, like a bar, and you put on weird stuff between songs, just entertain people, but I don't need that stuff. Ballad of the Green Berets. Don't need that one. And last but certainly not least, Elvis Impersonators Convention. International Elvis Impersonators Convention. I doubt I'm going to need that. It's got people doing Elvis songs and all kinds of... I don't even know any of the people doing the Elvis songs. I don't know why I would have even purchased this. Because I know I have a EP from Alves. But yeah, so here's the back side. I don't need any of that. Now, some of the big ones that I put on eBay that I've already sold. I can't show you, but I can show you little squares. I usually do 4 squares, and then I say, hey, which one sold for the most? And then you pick. But so much, I'm going to do the top 6. So start with the squares. First one was Ghost, a record from the band Ghost. It was a color vinyl. Another one was the one I showed in the last video, 88 Fingers Louie, Back on the Streets. Original pressing of that. Soundtrack of Beetlejuice. That's going somewhere. Weird Al. Of course, at the end of my collection, I came to Weird Al albums. Dare to Be Stupid. I didn't need that one. Even Worse. I didn't need that one. And then last but not least, I come to Mr. Roth, David Lee Roth. I had Eat It and Smile. I realized a few years back I bought the Spanish version. He actually sung Spanish and has a Spanish version of Eat 'em and Smile. And I'm like, yeah, it's kind of fun, but I'm not really a Van Halen or Roth collector, so I don't need every single thing they did. So I had that one. So I have 6 records. And what do you think sold for the most? I can wait a second. Okay, it was a soundtrack for Beetlejuice. Sold for $55. That Roth sold for like 30. The Weird Al's Stupid 35. That Even Worse was $44. So yeah, I did pretty good. I made around $300, which I'm going to put away into savings. That's what I tell my wife. I'm going to spend on records. So yeah, Beetlejuice soundtrack, $55. Not bad. Hope that person who bought it really likes it. And I hope you like this video. Thanks for watching.